Hey, you're right. The lighting in here is fantastic.
I know. It's fucking.
So,
There's so many lights in this fucking car.
yeah.
Hold on. I can turn the back one on. So it's this one's actually fucking unnecessary now.
For whenever, for whenever like Laura pops up in the back of one of these,
Just
she's
have
out
it
here
be
this
like
time.
a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. She did go to the movie with us though. She's like, I'm gonna go get something to eat. But again, sometimes we're back to doing these live. I haven't gotten my phone fixed yet.
I think you just need to get a new phone, man.
Well, I sent it in to get the microphone fixed, and they fixed everything but the microphone. So I haven't had the chance to get it sent back in because I've had all those cons, and I've needed it for the conventions, and I've got another one coming up next weekend in Moline. So I'm like, okay, I guess when I get back from Moline, I'm not leaving town again for another couple of weeks.
Signed up for T-Mobile Jump and fucking just get a new phone every year.
It's
what I do. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think I did get that phone like less than a year ago. I think it did when the other one finally crapped out. That's just what happens. Like it just waits till it gets on its last leg and is just totally broke.
Well, it's a fucking business expense now.
Yeah, that's true. So we just got out of Tag. I still got to see what else came out. Superfly. I don't know when I'll get around to seeing that. Maybe probably early next week. But Tag is the movie with Jake Johnson, John Hamm, Hannibal Buress, Ed Helms, and Jeremy Renner, where they are a group of friends who, for the past 30 years, ever since they were kid, for the entire month of May, they play this like no holds barred like game of tag with each other. And that's what the movie's about. Like, so it's all taking place in this particular year where Ed Helms gets together with a few of the other guys and says that it's finally going to be the year that they tag Jeremy Renner's character because he's in all these 30 years, he's the one who's never been tagged. And they think they have a shot at it this year because not only is he getting married, so they can try to, like...
They know exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah, they know where he's going to be. They know where he's going to be at the wedding, the rehearsal, and all of that. They know all these spots he's going to be. Maybe this will finally be the year that they can finally tag Jeremy Renner. And... not only that, but Ed Helms also says that this will be the final year that Jeremy Renner is playing this game. So it's like their last chance to finally tag Jeremy Renner. And while this is going on, there is also a reporter who's following them around, who at first was interviewing John Hamm, who's this powerful businessman. And she's interviewing him just about his company and everything. But then when this tag starts happening, like that becomes the story. The reporter's following him around through the movie. And it is a funny fucking movie.
Yeah, no, this was enjoyable.
It is
hell.
It's a good time because it's got all of these actors in it who are actors that I love, especially when they're in comedies. And they're hysterical in this. They work very, very, very well off of each other.
The rapport with everybody. I especially think between John Hamm and Jake Johnson was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the only one who didn't have as much rapport with the other guys was Hannibal Buress, but it worked perfectly for what he was doing.
Oh, yeah. He's like that weird friend who suddenly would just say something strange out of nowhere. Like, watching this movie and how these guys are, like, it reminded me of, like, when we would do stupid shit like play laser tag all the time, just out in cornfields,
or shooting each other with airsoft guns well into our 20s.
Yeah, because we were fucking high over at Ryan's place and trying to see.
You and I were high. Everyone else was sober as fuck.
That's true. That's true. But Ryan was still all game for shooting us with airsoft guns. There was one time we were playing laser tag in the cornfield behind me and my dad's house at the time, and what was the shit that was on the corn?
It was right after they put the pesticides out.
Okay.
It was like 2 days after they put the pesticides out.
Yeah.
And so we finished playing, and then immediately we all realized that, like, from head to toe, because it was the summer and we're wearing, like, shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Of course. From head to toe, we're covered in pesticide, and it itched and burned so bad.
We were covered in rashes by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Just sitting there watching some movie or just sitting there like this, like, oh, God, worth it, man. Totally worth it.
Completely
totally
worth it.
Totally fucking worth it.
I don't even think itchy now to think about.
I don't even think it was the last time we played.
No,
laser
we
tag in that
kept
thing.
going. We were dumb.
Yeah, exactly. Because why not? Like, this is one of those like great shenanigans movies that I love.
I don't know. You got a green one.
Did I see the 1982 tag movie? No, I didn't see that. But this is one of those great shenanigans movies that I love, where they're doing so much damage and illegal shit, and there's like no repercussions for like any of it. Like public play in hospitals where they're running around tagging each other, they're assuming identities, they're
breaking windows in churches.
Breaking windows in churches. They're kidnapping people and like threatening to torture them for information. They are like having golf cart chases on like a golf course and shit. They're wrecking shit, like crashing it into trees. And I just like this kind of shenanigans movie. I do. And this is that, like, pretty hardcore, honestly. And it does another thing I dig too, and I so far my two favorite comedies of the year are like this and Game Night. And one of the things that I really liked about Game Night was how it's certainly a comedy and it's very funny, but because of the story in the movie, it's like shot like it's a De Palma thriller. And this movie, with these guys assuming all these identities and coming up with all these schemes to try to mainly tag Jeremy Renner, it's shot like an action film.
No, and that's honestly like, I think that added a lot to it. It kept the pace going.
Yeah.
Because the first time it happens, like when it, like every time they get to Jeremy Renner, he's a fucking action hero.
Yeah.
So every time they get to a Jeremy Renner moment, you're like, oh, something crazy is gonna happen again.
Yeah, it'll go into like he's like doing voiceover on what his next move's gonna be, like in Sherlock Holmes or something like that. And even like when we first see Jake Johnson in the movie, and Ed Helms is like chasing him around, it's going to like these steady cam shots and shit where there's like a camera mounted on Jake Johnson, like as he's moving through the hallways, he's swinging on ropes, falling. That's another thing I love about this movie too, is there are so many injuries in this that would just kill a man.
And then just bounce right back up.
Yeah. I was having a really good time with that. And plus, Jeremy Renner is just fucking cool.
Yeah.
I've always said that. Jeremy Renner needs to be in more action movies for one. And
he just needs to be in, well, I think he's in plenty of movies.
He is.
I just love Jeremy Renner, period. Like, I've seen some movies in the past couple of years that he's been in that maybe they weren't the best movies, but Jeremy Renner's always fucking good.
Yeah, he popped up at, this was a terrible movie last year, that movie The House with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
He pops up at the end of that. That was a pretty bad movie, but when he pops up as like a Jeremy Renner type role, and I'm like, okay, Hanky, there's at least something here.
Yeah.
Like the last act of this movie.
Or that fucking Babysitter Jonah Hill movie where...
Was he in that?
No, not Renner, but the same kind of thing where...
with Sam Rockwell?
Sam Rockwell showed up and you're like,
I know what
well, at least we have Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, that's true. And there's this whole thing, I guess there's a lot of scenes in this movie, apparently, where Jeremy Renner's arms are CGI.
Yeah, because it was either during the making of this or the making of Avengers 4, because I know they kind of filmed some parts at the same time, where Renner broke both of his arms.
Yeah. It might have been during this, because holy shit. This movie does have a lot of action in it.
Yeah, broke both of his fucking arms. So apparently, like, in this movie, I was looking for it, honestly, because I knew this ahead of time, where there's a lot of scenes where his arms were CGI, apparently, but, like, they did... Either they had a lot of time to do the work.
Yeah.
And they might have, knowing they were going to have to do it while they were filming with him and Cass. Or they just did a really damn good job of filming around it too, possibly. Where I didn't think it was noticeable.
I did not notice it at all. Like, I mean, granted, like a lot of his act, because the other four guys are in the movie more than Jeremy Renner is. But there are a lot of scenes with Jeremy Renner. Like, no, I didn't notice it at all. But a lot of his scenes are done in like very slow motion choreographed shots that could easily certainly kind of cover up something like that a little bit. Like a lot of his action scenes are shot like a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah.
No, I never, and yeah, I was kind of looking for it, but I wasn't really distracted necessarily because the movie's very entertaining.
No,
and
it's
very
very
funny.
entertaining. It's got a really good flow. There's no lulls in this. Like, and that's the nice thing about a comedy too. Like, you keep the running time short because comedies always have a pretty short running time.
Yeah.
But it's concise and it's got a good flow and it hits all the right beats, but keeps the story moving fluidly.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, not a lot of movies do well anymore, I find.
This movie also, it's got a benefit too of being 2% battery remaining.
My cord might be full.
Oh no!
no!
Now we're dead.
Sorry guys.
This movie is it's got a huge benefit too in that it is brilliantly casted because each one of these guys could easily carry a movie like this on their own, like each one, and to have all 5 of them together in the same movie working off each other is brilliant. I mean, I'm all for Jake Johnson being in movies.
I'm for Jake Johnson doing fucking anything.
Yeah,
honestly,
same.
I love that fucking dude.
Oh God, yeah. Again, I mean, speaking of an actor who I've seen movies that he's in that I didn't care that much for, he was always my favorite part of them. Jurassic World, for one. I mean, I like
The Mummy.
Yeah, I mean, that was just weird because he was, as good as he was in that, he was in a completely different movie than everybody else in that film. Like, you could tell that script was just like a blend of 5 different movie scripts.
And he was the one dude who maybe knew, like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's dark stuff going on, and then Jake Johnson shows up to be Griffin Dunn from Werewolf in London. No, it's... What I like, too, about this is that, like, while there is all of these shenanigans going on, all the physical humor, the one-liners, the really outrageous, over-the-top scenarios in it. I mean, like, hell, like Jeremy Renner is using like body doubles at one point. Yeah. At one point, he just disappears out of a phone booth, and John Hamm's like, I still don't know how he did that. Like, there's one part of this movie where it turns into a Vietnam movie. Yeah. Like, they're in the woods,
and it's a flash cut, and they wake up at dusk in the woods.
Yeah, it's foggy, and like this soundtrack kicks in from a boombox sitting there. Like nets come up and trap them. A log comes out and just knocks Jake Johnson into the water. Like, it's crazy, but with all of this crazy stuff going on, it does have heart. It does have a lot of heart to it.
What the fuck is that noise?
Oh, it's the guy pulling out over there in that like go-kart thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They have their own game of tag.
Yeah.
No, it does have a lot of heart to it. They talk about how like this is kind of a game that's kept them all close and kept them all friends, because like some of them are married, some of them have moved away, and you know they do have serious conversations about how they're really not that close with Jeremy Renner anymore. And then by a reveal at the end of the movie actually does get kind of real in the last it does have some genuinely heartfelt moments in the last act of this film, and it still remains comedic, because I mean they will let a moment be serious. Certainly they do. They let a moment have a lot of heart to it, and when they do add in like maybe a one-liner or something like that in there, it works because these characters have known each other this long, and it sets it up to where even in like kind of like dark low moments, these guys have kind of all been there for each other, like with this game, and these characters all certainly have a sense of humor about it and have pretty thick skin. But I enjoyed this. I had a really good time at this movie.
No, and this is one of those movies that I went in expecting just to have a good time. I wasn't expecting cinematic brilliance or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I had a good time. It was exactly what it needed to be. Yeah. And quite frankly, like, this is a movie that it's certainly not going to be the best movie of the year, but this is going to be one of the movies from this year that I'm probably going to remember and want to rewatch. Yeah. Because it's fun.
Yeah, it's just a very fun movie. Like, you know, me, you, and you know, Buford and all those guys can sit around and have a good time with this. There are some damn good comedies out this year, like between this and Game Night, which was very, 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 very funny. And Isla Fisher too in this.
Isla
film.
Fisher is fantastic in this.
She is great.
She's, like I said while we were getting ready to do the review, Isla Fisher is one of those people that if she's in a movie, like we were talking Jake Johnson or
yeah, Jeremy Renner.
even a movie that's not great,
Mm-hmm.
Isla Fisher is always one of the highlights.
No, yeah. she has a really fun character in this, where she's Ed Helms' wife, who takes like this game and everything
way
like
more seriously than anyone else.
like really intense, like fucking like throwing bottles and shit at people and like cursing at them, and then we'll like say like, oh, and by the way, here's a picture of my kids. No, she was a lot of fun in this. Yeah, I recommend this if you just want to like go, because yeah, there are a lot of great movies that are playing right now between Hereditary and Upgrade, and I thought Hotel Artemis was a blast.
But I think of all the things that are playing right now that are good, this is different from the rest.
No,
this is a different. So you know, there's a lot of opportunities right now to go see a good movie.
Yeah,
and so you just got to kind of decide what you're in the mood to see, which is fantastic, because how often do we get a week or 2 weeks like that where there are 4 or 5 great movies playing?
Yeah,
and you have like a wealth of choices is not a bad thing.
No, not at all. If you're not in the mood for something like, you know, Hereditary or Upgrade or something like that, and you just want to go and just have some laughs, like this is perfect for that. Like I laughed out loud many times in this movie. So did the audience. It was pretty crowded in there.
No, yeah, it was a good crowd. And the other thing I liked about this comedy too is like there's a little bit of blue humor in this, but it's not their go-to for big laughs.
Yeah,
like the big laughs aren't blue, but the blue humor in it, it fits the characters, it fits the tone of the movie, and it doesn't go over the fucking top.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't use that as a crutch. And at the same time, I mean, the movie, it is not afraid to get dark.
No,
like with some of its humor, like but it does establish.
There's a whole scene where they're getting ready to fucking waterboard Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah,
and I was like, if they do this,
yeah, it is not afraid for some dark jokes in this movie, but it definitely sets that up as part of this movie's universe, and it's not the crutch of it. There is it all works with the context and tone that we've been given of the movie. So yeah, I recommend it. I do. I think
I highly recommend it. Like if of the movies that are playing now, if you just want to go to the theater and have fun for an hour and a half, I think this is the movie. Like,
oh yeah, I don't even know how long this was, but I mean, it didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome or anything like that.
No, and I just say an hour and a half because it's a comedy, and generally speaking, comedies top out are usually around 90 minutes, you know?
Unless it's a bad comedy, then it's like 3 hours long. It's 3 hours long and no script. Any other final thoughts about the movie? Anything we're forgetting about it?
No, I thought it was a word I don't use often. I thought it was delightful.
It was a delightful romp.
And you know what? It sounds really dumb, but it is a really good description of this movie.
Yeah.
It is, because it is many things, but it is certainly a romp.
Yeah, it is shenanigans galore. All right, guys. At some point, I'll be seeing Superfly. I'm going to be at Planet FunkCon in Moline next weekend, so the movies that are coming out this Thursday, I won't get a chance to see until I get back.
At Planet FunkCon, I highly suggest it if you are in the Moline, Illinois area and you want to meet Brad Jones or Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
We will both be there. We will. So come see it. That's a 2-day con. It is Friday and Saturday. So come see us there in Moline, and there'll be other stuff I'm putting up before then. So see you guys later.